Welcome back into the Motor Index, folks. And well, we have a couple different stories I wanted to hit on today. I was going to do an individual video for some of these, but I kind of figured I would just, bunch them all into one and give all my thoughts in one fell swoop here. So, storylines we're hitting on Kyle Larson versus IndyCar and their fans. My full, thoughts on the Amazon Prime coverage from the Coca-Cola 600 and, where do I think they did great? Where do I think they could improve? And then a little bit of an update on the Cutline as this weekend at Nashville marks the start of the second half of the regular season. If I believe that's the case, if I'm getting that right. So yeah, so let's get into it. So Larson versus IndyCar fans has been quite the predicament or argument on X and all of the social media platforms. Obviously, if you haven't seen it, Kyle Larson with the whole double attempt starts raining before the race, delays the race. They start doing the pace laps, and Scott McLaughlin crashes. Larson gives a cheesy little thumbs up to him, kind of in an angry manner because at this point it was very evident the double was screwed. And then you also get Larson's spotter on the roof saying something along the lines. I don't remember exactly what he said. It was something like these guys are stupid or whatever. Like whoever wrecked was an idiot. And people took that as Kyle Larson saying it. And look, I get it. Like there's going to be a group of people who just automatically don't like Kyle Larson, which is fine. I don't really care. Like I'm not asking you to like Kyle Larson, but to like act as though like I don't even know how to like describe like what I kind of think of this whole IndyCar banter. It's just they come off like almost like not entitled, but it's like really like I mean, do you not want like this brings attention to your sport? Same with NASCAR, but and I do think both sports should be trying to bring people in from both sports because it does great things for the numbers in both sports. But um, to me, it's just like IndyCar, like you're getting so like high and tight over Larson being emotional in the race car. Like, would you rather the race car drivers like not be emotionally invested in what they're doing? Like he's trying to do something incredibly difficult and put a lot of work into it, and then immediately like okay he does something you didn't like to a driver you didn't like. It's just like immediately World War III online. Like I don't know. I just feel like I think some of the discourse is just kind of stupid. And I did see Scott McLaughlin after his tweet was asked about it, and him and Larson have talked and whatever. But it's like that's just racing passion. Like I don't get it. I completely understand that there is just a group of people who are gonna hate Larson no matter what. Like I completely get that. But at the same time, and like a lot of people are saying like, oh, he's like really cocky, which like, yeah, every single race car driver that's good is cocky. Like you have to be cocky to be good. Like I would much rather my driver be cocky than not be cocky and not be good. Like I don't like is this new to people that really good race car drivers are cocky? Like look at Max Verstappen. Like do you think does anybody, especially Max Verstappen cares? Like and I don't think cares if and I'm not saying that this gives, drivers like an excuse to be jerks, but I just think this is like the stupidest thing to get mad over and to say like, oh, like he doesn't appreciate being in the Indy 500. Like, of course he does. He's trying to do like I appreciate that passion and fire for wanting to do it. Like, but I guess IndyCar fans don't. So, whatever. I don't really care. I think this is just a stupid story, and I think people are getting mad over nothing, frankly. So, yeah, I don't know if IndyCar fans are so mad. Maybe their sport should be more entertaining. So, sorry. Anyways, let's get on to the Prime coverage because I'm tired of talking about IndyCar. This will be the last time I talk about IndyCar, probably the rest of the season. So, yay. Prime coverage. So yeah, first race on Amazon Prime last week in NASCAR. Thought it was awesome. Really, really liked it from start to finish. Um, it was. I wouldn't say it was everything I expected, but it was close. It was certainly close. Um, and as far as the best NASCAR broadcast I've ever seen, I think it's probably a pretty fair statement to make. I think The big thing was the no commercials, and or if they did have commercials, it was side by side or not during green flag racing, which is phenomenal. Love it. That's an argument I see a lot of people make, like prior to the Amazon thing, is that they would get upset with the side by side, and I'm like, dude, there's gonna have to be commercials regardless. I would much rather have the side by side than full screen. Like I would rather have, give me 10 side by sides instead of like 4 full screens and 4 side by sides. Give me all 8 side by side. That's a huge improvement. And I'm just throwing around numbers there, but somebody on Twitter did break down the numbers on, the amount of commercials that there was, and it was significantly less. Which, huge thumbs up, Amazon Prime. Love that. Loved the pre and post race shows. Love the crew that they've got. I'm forgetting the name of the girl on who's like the host of the pre and post game show. She was great. Carl Edwards, love that. Corey LaJoy, I thought, added a really fun aspect. Kind of one of those first of this next generation of drivers to get into the broadcast booth as like a full time gig. Love that. I think overall, and then talk about the booth with Adam Alexander, Dale Jr., and Steve Letarte. Love everything about that. I thought there was a really good segment on the Dale Jr. download, or I believe it was on the Dale Jr. download, where he was breaking down him and Adam Alexander's chemistry and how selfless Adam Alexander is in the booth, letting Jr. and Letarte take the reins when necessary. Huge. I love that. But then again, I really like Adam Alexander, and I think Adam Alexander just has his selflessness really contributes to the chemistry that booth has already. I mean, just look at him in the Xfinity booth. Really, really good is Adam Alexander in that CW booth. And it's like, just like with the CW booth, it was pretty much no time, and they were locked in step, in sync. And I think that's kind of what we're looking at here with the Cup booth on Prime. So really excited about that. Just overall, I thought the graphics and everything about the cameras and stuff, super sleek, super modern. Loved it. And I've seen a lot of people saying that the cars were really turned up. All good by me. I would much rather hear the cars being too loud than too quiet. That is, in my opinion, a benefit. I would not change that, actually, because that is the one thing that you can kind of translate into the living room that you can't, like, the experience of being at the racetrack and actually physically experiencing NASCAR racing is so foreign to what it is watching on TV. The one thing you do have is the noise factor of the cars, and I think just amplifying that in the broadcast and really focusing on it is a good thing, because that's the one thing that you can kind of translate. So love everything about that, honestly. Really excited to see what they do as far as improvements heading into the second week, but should be pretty interesting. I thought it was a great broadcast. So and then lastly, let's get into a little bit of a Cutline update as far as the playoffs as we begin the second half of the season. There's going to be a lot of talk about this group of drivers here, because it's starting to get to crunch time where push comes to shove. You either got to point your way in or you got to win your way in. And I think there's a lot of really good drivers, that are deeper than the cut line, who very well could win and complicate the cut line. So the cut line currently, as it stands right now, the three above the cut line is Bubba Wallace plus 45, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. plus 17, and Ryan Preece plus 13. Just below the cut line, you have AJ Allmendinger at minus 13, Kyle Busch at minus 14, Michael McDowell at minus 21. And then a little bit deeper in terms of drivers who have been pretty fast, or drivers who I do think can win in the next few weeks or throughout the rest of the regular season. John Hunter Nemechek, Carson Hocevar, Chris Buescher, Austin Dillon. People might roll their eyes at that, but look at how Austin Dillon ended the regular season last year. Say what you want about how Richmond went. He was going to win that race on pure speed at the end had that caution not come out. I'm just saying. And then lastly, Brad Keselowski, who we mentioned in the Nashville preview. All of those guys, especially Keselowski, as far as the current form of all these guys, but Keselowski especially in current form, I would not be shocked if he just rattled off a win out of nowhere. I really do think that that's on the table. Um, but I think this is going to be a real dogfight for the cut line here, because I do think it's going to be multiple people getting in on points. I don't see it being, the next 13 weeks. I don't see us getting another 7 different winners. You maybe get 3 or 4, maybe 3 or 4. And then that's going to leave. So we have seven different winners right now. I believe it is 7 or 8. If you add in 3 or 4 more, that puts you at 12. So 4 people would get in on points. So that's going to really complicate things. And I think as we get closer to that Daytona race at the end of the regular season, that it's just going to be it's going to be a very interesting battle as far as who takes points, who goes for wins and whatnot, and how that affects the cut line. That will be something very interesting to watch. I think the road courses are not only threats for some of these guys to win, but threats for a lot of these guys to make up significant gains on points. You really would like to be that car who stays out as everybody, flips the stage like pitting at the end of the stage prior to the stage win. I think there's a lot of opportunity for some of these guys to, stay out if they end up as that car, stay out, win a stage, and get playoff points and get a lot of, season points. So, and I think about a guy like, AJ Allmendinger. It would not be anywhere out of the question for him to win on a road course. It wouldn't even be out of the question for him to win on an oval right now with how good he's running. But yeah, I think there is opportunity for every single one of these drivers to win. Absolutely. Do I think they will all win? Of course, they won't all win, but I think of this group of drivers who will win before the end of the regular season, I think AJ Allmendinger does. I think Kyle Busch probably does. It's a stretch, but I think Kyle Busch does. I think I I think Keselowski's got a really good shot, honestly. And honestly, Carson Hocevar, maybe. I don't know where that win will come at, but Carson Hocevar has been just so lightning quick this season. So we'll see. But with that being said, I think that's all we've got today. So thank y'all so much for watching. Please like and subscribe and stay tuned for some more coverage heading into Nashville this week. Thank y'all. God bless.